So, in baseball, you have this stat. It's called wins above replacement. And the higher your number is, like Robinson Cano or Mike Trout, maybe a 7 or an 8, that means you're 8 wins a year beyond the average guy that would replace you. And in college football, the salaries came out today for what the college football coaches are making. And oh my God, I'm going to hear all the PCers. This is outrageous. Players don't get paid. College football coaches make too much money. I have a stat in college football called DAR, not WAR, but DAR, dollars above replacement. So Jim Harbaugh makes $9 million. Now, some of that's an incentive through insurance deals and in bowl incentives. So let's just go down to his base salary. Because if a school's willing to give guys money on insurance and incentives, they're protected from that. Schools make money when they give you money off incentives and bowls, right? So let's just go to his base salary. It's $5 million. And that's what Urban mostly makes, $5 million. All the top guys in college football make about $5 million. Then they make another $1 million in a bowl, another $1 million in incentives, an insurance policy. They monkey it around. Let's just stay on the base. Because the school wouldn't give you incentives. They do that when they make money on what the coach performs. But every coach in 2016 that would get that job at Michigan would mostly get $3 million. So what Harbaugh's really costing you, dollars above replacement, is $2 million a year. Let me ask you, Michigan fans, you think he's worth $2 million in a stadium that seats 110,000 and was nearly half full at the end of Brady Hoke? Chris Peterson at Washington, his salary is $3.6 million. But anybody that Washington hired was going to be $3 million. So what he is making is about $600,000 above what any coach at Washington in this day and age that was going to replace Sark would make. He made about $600,000 more. Hey, Husky fans, you're relevant for the first time in 2.5 decades. Think he's worth it? For all you left-leaning, anti-1%ers, tax the rich, stop staring at the salary. The position of college football coach at a traditional power is about $4 million to $3 million. The big dogs make $5 million. So they're making $1 million to $1.5 million more on average base salary because they have a better agent and a better track record. Let me ask you, when Mack Brown got to Texas, he came from Carolina. When Mack Brown got to Texas, that stadium was half full, and they were charging about $9 a ticket. By the time Mack Brown left Texas, they'd added 25,000 seats to the stadium. They were selling it out. They had 80 suites. There were bidding wars. You don't think Mack Brown was worth $4 million a year? Anybody would have made $2.5 million. Mack Brown was the biggest bargain in college sports for about 8 years. Now, at the end, you can argue he was overpaid because they got downhill. But what he built, what he took, where it was to what it was when he left, you got to be kidding me. Just the bowls he got to, the Rose Bowl, the national title, just the money he made off that, he paid for himself in one game, in one 3-hour period. So people always freak out about all these salaries. What does the position pay? What does it pay? And I'll tell you something. When in doubt, get a star. Rick Riley left Sports Illustrated. Magazine's never been the same. They fought over $500,000. Skip Bayless left my former network. You see what's happened to that show? Down 33%. Just pay the extra $1 million. You want to know the best pregame shows right now on American TV? Barkley, Shaq, Howie Long, Terry Bradshaw, Strahan. Okay? A-Rod. You know, this idea, people get all worked up over what a college football coach would make. Do you know the financial gap between Pete Carroll at USC and what they have now? There's 60,000 people at those games max. With Pete, there was 93,000. So in Los Angeles, what's 33,000 people at $100 a head and selling merchandise like hotcakes? If Pete Carroll came back to USC, if Clay Helton makes $3 million, Pete's easily worth 10. You don't think he's worth $7 million in annual revenue to USC football in a town like Los Angeles? You're out of your gourd. Harbaugh is worth every penny.